Hello, hello. Welcome back to my kitchen. I'm just gonna make sure that you can see me. All right. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome back to my kitchen. Today, we're going to be making a meat-free meal, and we're gonna check all of our bases. We'll have a little bit of grain. We'll have some vegetables, tons of vegetables, and hopefully this will be a hearty meal for both you and your loved ones. I'm gonna turn off the light behind me. Hopefully you can still see me. All right, so first things first, my oven is preheated to 350, and I've already started making brown rice. Any grain that you're gonna be cooking with a boil, brown rice, quinoa, anything like that, it does take some time. So just for the sake of this video being short and sweet, I've already started to make my brown rice. And really you just follow the instructions on whatever container you're using. I use organic long grain brown rice. I'm also a fan of quinoa as well. So whatever you prefer to make, feel free to get that started. Next here, I'm gonna pop the kale chips into the oven. So I have a huge bowl of fresh cut kale. This is just from Trader Joe's. And it's already been washed and rinsed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add olive oil and then actually massage the kale with my hands. So obviously my hands are clean. I'm just gonna drizzle some olive oil onto the kale. For those of you who haven't made kale chips before, they're really, really good. You can flavor them a lot of different ways too. So with the olive oil, I'm just going to kind of massage the kale here, literally with the hands. I'm also mixing around the olive oil so that it kind of gets on more leaves. So the idea behind this meal is that it's kind of a Mod Podge of things, and hopefully it inspires you to eat more vegetables, but also to kind of think outside the box on how you can create a meal meat-free, just to give your body some new things to digest and enjoy. All right, variety is always good. So you'll actually begin to kind of feel the kale soften up as you massage it. And then I have a large cookie sheet here. So I'm gonna just dump the kale out onto this cookie sheet. And you wanna make it kind of as thin as possible. You don't really want the greens layering up. So we're gonna spread it out. I probably could use another cookie sheet here, but we're going to make the most of what we have. All right, so tons of greens are laid out on the cookie sheet covered in olive oil. From there, I'm going to take my salt. This is the wrong one. I tried to have all my ingredients out beforehand, but here's our salt. So we're just going to lightly season the kale with salt. This is pink Himalayan salt. I'm going to do smoked paprika on the kale as well, and this is when you can really get creative. When I started cooking, was not creative at all. Thankfully, my boyfriend's a huge fan of spices and things outside the box in the kitchen, so that's kind of inspired me to use a little bit more spice. And I'm actually going to put, this wasn't in the initial ingredients that I sent everyone, but nutritional yeast. If you've never tried it before, I keep it in a jar in my kitchen. It's kind of like this yellow, kind of looks like sand, but it has a really awesome cheese flavor. So it's dairy-free for those of you who don't eat dairy or cheese. I use it on top of spaghetti in place of my Parmesan, but today I'm going to make cheesy flavored kale chips. So I'm just gonna sprinkle this all over the top of the kale, and then this is good to go. So I'm going to stick it in the oven. Again, the oven's at 350. I'm going to go ahead and just shake it up and throw it in there. And step one is complete. Okay, so we have the rice cooking and the kale chips are in the oven. The second ingredient that I told you to bring for today or have prepared is broccoli. In the event that you don't have broccoli, you can choose another vegetable. So actually, we don't have broccoli, but we do have Brussels sprouts. So this is just a reminder that bowls are full of whatever you have in the kitchen. It's a great, before you go to the grocery store, whatever you're kind of running low on or any of the vegetables that you have left, you can roast or saute up and add into these bowls. With this, with these Brussels sprouts, I'm going to saute them on the stove top. So first I'm cutting off the ends, and then I'm going to cut them long ways. And then we'll get these going on the stove top with our chickpeas. So Brussels. What else can you put into bowls? So broccoli is really great. You can do zucchini, roasted carrot, sauteed carrots. Tons and tons of options for vegetables here in these bowls. The other thing that's super important for flavor is some sort of sauce. So you can, make your own sauce to put on top of these, or kind of switch it up, especially if you're meal prepping. I like to cook a lot of vegetables at once and then just have them at my fingertips in the fridge. So cooking different vegetables at once and then having them ready for you to use with different sauces, you can kind of make the same meal taste a little bit different. Same goes for seasoning. All right, so I'm chopping up these Brussels. If you decided to use broccoli, great. I wish I had some broccoli. I was sad to see that we didn't have any, but we're not going to the store as often as we usually would. So we're just cooking with what we have, and that's okay. All right, so with these Brussels, I'm going to put them on the stove top. I grab my little pan here. Just gonna throw them right into here. And I'm going to use coconut oil for things with high heat. We want to try to stay away from the olive oil. If you're a Costco member, this huge thing of coconut oil really gets Jay and I through the week. So, you want a cameo? All right, here we go. So Brussels sprouts, coconut oil. I'm gonna put this on medium heat and then season it as I go. Okay, so I'm just gonna get those Brussels warmed up. All right, let's see, here we go. All right, next step, I'm going to do our chickpeas. I'm gonna also do these on the stovetop, although they can be done in the oven as well. They can be roasted in the oven. So for the stovetop chickpeas, I'm gonna bring over my cast iron. And I have 2 cans of chickpeas here that are already open. I'm just gonna carefully open these up, pour the chickpeas into that pan. All right, and then we're gonna season these now before they get roasting. All right, so I'm gonna do some salt on top of the chickpeas. And again, these will kind of take whatever flavor. Chickpeas are very flavorful, so they'll take whatever flavor you use in terms of seasoning on top of them. Smoked paprika. We're also gonna do some pepper as well. Got the big pepper out today. All right. You can kind of add as you go. Again, I'm not measuring anything. I'm not a professional chef here. I'm just kind of playing it by ear. We're gonna turn the rice off. I think the rice is probably done. All right. So we're mixing these up. I'm also gonna add coconut oil to the chickpeas. That's gonna help them get kind of a browned. We're looking for crispy chickpeas. Not everything in the bowl is gonna be crispy, so this is gonna be kind of a different sensation. We wanna keep it fresh. All right. Put this on the stove top. Again, on medium heat as well. All right, you might be able to hear those Brussels sprouts. They're starting to snap, crackle, pop here on the back burner. Add a little bit more coconut oil to those. Cooking with coconut oil is super beneficial. One of our healthy fats, along with avocado oil, olive oil as well, but again, we want to be focused on using an oil that can take that high heat while cooking. And coconut oil is a gem. So we want to make sure we're being mindful of that. We get the chickpeas going as well. All right, so running through what we have right now, we have brown rice finishing up on the stovetop here as our base. That's going to be at the very bottom of our bowl. I'm actually going to just rinse this out. Take the rice off the heat. Give it a little stir. Nice. Took me a while to learn how to make brown rice. In fact, my boyfriend's mother taught me that I had been doing it wrong my entire life. So now I know how to make brown rice. It's a patience game. And you're actually not supposed to stir it, which is what I didn't know. You just gotta let the moisture kind of soak in. So here we have our brown rice, nice and hot, right off the stovetop. I'm gonna put that in the bottom of my bowl, like 1 or 2 scoops for today. All right, and then we can set that aside. You have the rest of this to prep, or if you're making a dinner for more than just yourself, hopefully you have enough to serve your loved ones. We're gonna give these a nice little stir. Chickpeas are doing great. We wanna let them get hot enough so that they crisp up a little bit. Again, you can also do that in the oven. Our Brussels are cooking. All right, and then we're also gonna check on the kale chips. Those look like they're roasting up nicely. All right, I'm gonna take questions. If you're watching right now live with me, go ahead and ask any questions you may have. Any ingredients that you want to use up in your kitchen and you need some inspiration on how to do that. Just gonna wait a little bit, about 5 minutes here, and then hopefully we'll have some things to add to this bowl. Alrighty. And now it's a waiting game. But really, this meal doesn't take very long. I don't see it taking longer than a half hour. As long as your rice is cooked ahead of time, and you're efficient with getting multiple things cooking at once. Sometimes that can be a little overwhelming to have more than one burner going. So now that my Brussels sprouts, and if you're doing broccoli, you can kind of do one and the same here. Now that they're nicely coated in oil and they're starting to get a little bit warm on the stovetop there, I'm going to add just salt and pepper to the Brussels for now. And then I'm thinking about also adding some balsamic vinegar to those Brussels sprouts, just to give them another flavor so that not everything in my bowl is tasting like paprika and salt and pepper. I believe that cooking, the more you cook, the more confidence and creative in the kitchen you will get. Okay, so if you're just starting off cooking more, maybe in quarantine you've been inspired to cook a little bit more, that's great. I'm not even the one who really cooks in our family, our household. My boyfriend does the majority of the cooking, thankfully. You'll notice that the Brussels or the broccoli will kind of start to crisp up a little bit. That's what we're going for. add that balsamic vinegar to my Brussels now that they're getting a little crispy. Add some balsamic vinegar here. Just gonna pour over those Brussels. Ooh. All right, any questions? Well, hopefully you feel like this is something that you can make at home and that your family would enjoy. Again, it's very, very simple, entirely plant-based. And I think for most people who eat meat super frequently, like every single day or every single meal, initially as you start to kind of back away from eating meat as often, your body might feel like it's missing something. But truly a meal like this with the chickpeas for protein, the healthy grains in our brown rice, and then the vegetables, you're really checking off every single box of what it is that you need to have a balanced meal. All right. Woo. Getting warm in here. I'm gonna open up the window. All right, those chickpeas are starting to crisp up nicely. We have our Brussels sprouts that are starting to brown and also soaking in the moisture of that balsamic vinegar that I added. White wine vinegar would work as well. Red wine, if you're a red wine drinker, you can flavor your food with that as well. All right, so we're just gonna give everything a couple more minutes. I'm gonna check on those kale chips. I feel like my worst fear while going live is the smoke alarm going off. So hopefully that doesn't happen for us. I will show you the kale chips here. They're kind of starting to brown nicely. You can see there's the nutritional yeast on top of them to make them cheesy flavored. Leave it for a little bit longer. I think these chickpeas are ready to be added to the bowl. So I'm going to keep a couple of them on the stove for a little bit. But I'm going to take that brown rice that I already have cooked as my base and add about 2 scoops of chickpeas. And I'm going to let the other ones roast up just a little bit more. Make sure they're all flat against the cast iron. Then I'm also going to add some of those Brussels now to the bowl. Keep the rest of them cooking a little bit longer. So we have our chickpeas and our brown rice and our Brussels. And then I'm going to grab just a few kale chips to put on top so you can see the full bowl here. Gently put those on top. You want your plate to be colorful. Taste the rainbow. All right. All right. Here we go. So this is without any sauce or anything. Let's see. Do I have a question? Brussels sprouts sound great. Awesome. Okay, so here is my bowl. I have my kale chips, Brussels sprouts. Turn on the light. Hopefully you can see a little bit better. But it's going to be a very filling meal. And again, you can add sauces if you like hot sauce. You can add that to some of the chickpeas especially. That would be really good. Yeah, I'll turn this down so I don't forget about it. All right, let me know if you have any questions. I'm also going to be posting this on YouTube. Thank you, Mandy. I'm sorry your family won't eat it. Yes, it will definitely warm up good. So everything that I'm making here now, while I burn the chickpeas, one second. Everything that I'm making here now will definitely heat up well. The kale chips, just don't put them in the fridge. Keep them in like a Ziploc bag over on top of your fridge or wherever you keep your chips.
I like to do those instead of chips. So the kale chips are really great. You can eat them for multiple days. Brown rice will keep in its own container, or you can make your own meals. If you want to kind of make individual bowls like this for the week, it will definitely heat up. I would just add those kale chips on top once it's all warmed up so that they're still kind of crunchy. I think if you were to put them in a microwave, they might get a little bit less crunchy. All right, I'm going to post this on YouTube. Let me know if you have any follow-up questions. Again, get creative. So if there is a vegetable that your family really likes, then maybe roast that up or saute that up and add that to your bowl. It's all about getting creative and kind of breaking away from the norm. So chickpeas, beans for your protein. Hopefully this is something that you're willing to try, and let me know if you need anything else. Thanks, everyone.